Never save money. Sounds crazy, right? Since we were kids, we've been taught to save every penny for a rainy day. But that one belief keeps thousands of people broke their entire lives. The old man in today's life-changing story worked himself to the bone to save money, only to end up with nothing in his old age. Why? Let's dive into the brutal truth of life. A long time ago, in a quiet little town, lived an old man. Everyone in town had a nickname for him, the lazy old man. Why? Because he never did a thing. From morning till night, he'd just sit under a big tree on a shaky old chair, staring out at nothing. But he wasn't just sitting there. He was dreaming of success. And he'd tell anyone who listened about his big plans. He'd say, "Just you watch. One day, I'm going to open a huge store. I'll buy land. I'll have a barn full of cows. I won't have to work in the hot sun. The money will just roll in." But here's the problem. That one day never came. He was all talk, no action. He had zero drive to actually start his journey. The townspeople didn't even laugh at him. They just felt sorry for him. They looked at him with pity. At home, his wife worked her fingers to the bone all day. She'd sigh and say, "Honey, are you listening? Real life doesn't run on dreams. It runs on work. Please give me a hand, or we're gonna starve." The old man would just shrug. "You don't get it. I'll find a way eventually." Years went by. Things got tough. Poverty started crushing them like a heavy rock. One night, the crickets were chirping outside. Inside, a dim lamp was barely burning. The old man, his little grandson, who was skinny from not eating enough and didn't even have shoes on his feet, walked up to him. In a quiet, scared voice, he asked, "Grandpa, hey, Grandpa, is there any bread left? I'm really hungry." The old man froze. He looked helplessly at his wife. She opened the cupboard, moved some pots around, but it was empty. Not a single crumb. The old man looked at the floor, fighting back tears. He realized a painful life lesson right there. You can't eat dreams. His big master plans couldn't fill his grandson's empty stomach. He didn't sleep a wink that night. He tossed and turned, eaten up by guilt. The next morning, before the sun was even up, he got out of bed. Swallowing his pride, he went out to find work. The man who had never done hard labor in his life ended up working as a day laborer in someone else's field. It was brutal. The midday sun felt like it was burning his skin off. His soft hands got covered in blisters. His back screamed in pain. Sweat was stinging his eyes. Standing in the middle of that field, leaning on his shovel, he whispered, "This isn't the successful life I wanted. This feels like slavery." It was brutal. He came home that night completely drained. His wife managed to scrape together some beans and dry bread. His grandson ran over and hugged him. "Grandpa, what did they give you today?" The old man looked at the few coins in his hand and sighed. "It's not much, kiddo, but it's something." But here was the problem. That little bit of money vanished the second it touched his hand. Paying off debt, buying medicine for his sick wife, getting food proof, gone. Week after week, he worked like a mule, but the roof still leaked and they were still hungry. Poverty just wouldn't let go. One afternoon, walking past a tea shop in town, he heard some guys talking loud. One guy said, "You know the secret to financial freedom? Saving. If you stash your cash, you're safe. That's how you become a king." That stuck in the old man's head. He thought, "That's it. I'm spending everything I make. That's why I'm stuck." That same night, he found a big glass jar and hid it under the bed. He made a vow. From now on, I'm saving. Every week, he'd starve himself, skip buying things they actually needed, just to drop coins in that jar. When he heard the clink of the coin hitting the glass, he'd smile. It sounded like hope, a real turning point. One day, his grandson found the jar. What's this, Grandpa? The old man beamed. That's our tomorrow, kid. That's our future. But saving was hard. His shoes fell apart. He stitched them up instead of buying new ones. They ate less and less. His wife finally snapped. What is the point of saving money if we're starving right now? He didn't even look up. You'll understand one day. Months turned into a year. Drop by drop, that jar finally filled up to the top. The old man felt like he'd won. He wasn't poor anymore. One morning, feeling great, he took his grandson to the market. He wanted to buy 3 big sacks of corn so they could finally eat well. He dumped the money on the counter and said, "Brother, give me 3 sacks of your best corn." The shopkeeper counted the cash, then shook his head. "Pops, this won't buy 3 sacks. Prices have gone way up. This gets you 1 sack. Maybe a half." The old man felt the ground drop out from under him. His voice shook. "What? I scraped and saved for this money, and now it's worth less?" The shopkeeper shrugged. "Money loses value when it just sits there, old-timer. Prices go up, your jar doesn't." Walking home, that jar felt heavy as lead. That night, he counted the money over and over. It hadn't grown. His grandson asked quietly, "So, what was the point of saving, Grandpa?" The old man had no answer. He was crushed. The days got darker, he got weaker, and there still wasn't enough food. He felt like he hit a dead end. A few days later, he was sitting on the porch, feeling low. He watched neighbors walking by, some carrying eggs to sell, others milk. They looked calm, unafraid. Suddenly, he remembered something his grandson said a long time ago. He called the boy over. "Hey, didn't you say something about buying chickens?" The boy nodded. The old man didn't wait. He took the last of his savings and bought a few scrawny chickens. When he let them loose in the yard, the boy clapped and ran after them, laughing. "Grandpa, now we have our own egg factory." It started small, 1 or 2 eggs a day. They ate some, sold some. With the egg money, they bought feed and more chickens. The old man wrote everything down in a little red notebook. In a few months, the yard was noisy with chickens. Neighbors started coming to them to buy eggs. The man everyone called lazy was now busy all day. And he wasn't dreaming anymore. He was working and loving it. One afternoon, holding an egg in the setting sun, he told his grandson, "You know what? This 1 egg is worth more than that whole jar of cash." "Why?" the boy asked. The old man smiled. "Because this egg feeds us, we sell it for money, and it creates new life." The money in the jar was dead like a dry leaf. This is alive. It grows." The boy hugged him. "So you're not lazy anymore, Grandpa?" The old man teared up. "No, kid. I finally learned. That glass jar stayed under the bed, gathering dust." Whenever anyone asked him for advice on saving, he'd point to his chickens and say, "Saving cash is like trying to hold water in your hand. It eventually slips away. Don't let your money sit idle. Put it to work. Start small, but let it grow." And that is how the man they once called lazy learned the biggest wisdom of life. Don't just save money. Invest it. Because saved money shrinks, but invested money grows. Guys, we make this mistake all the time. We pinch pennies, but never make them work for us. I hope this motivational story got you thinking.